This week we're talking about the future of the written word, or more precisely, will I have a job in 5 years? Now, here in the US, there are around 4.6 PR workers to every single journalist. And according to recent stats, a journalist makes, on average, about 35% less than what a PR person makes. And that pay gap, sorry to say, is not shrinking. It's actually getting bigger. Journalism matters. I don't think that's really a controversial statement, but it's also fair and correct to say that the profession of journalism has had a very, very rough last decade. The decline and fall of the entire newspaper business put many journalists out of the job. And certainly, the internet beckons, but BuzzFeed is not a solution to every problem in the industry. Now, luckily, journalism is a career that has many applications. In fact, journalists, being practiced and experienced writers, are often sought out for corporate content jobs. There's some good news, however. After a long period in which journalists left the industry in droves, there's been a recent minor reset. A number of writers that I both know and love are coming back to my side of the fence. To walk us through how to leave and come back to journalism, we have Lauren Hockenson right here in the studio.
Lauren Hockenson is a reporter at The Next Web, a leading technology publication. She's also a feature contributor at Femsplain, a new website that promotes the perspectives of women. Before joining TMW, Hockenson wrote for several other publications, including GigaOM and People.com. But in the middle of her journalism career, Hockenson did a stint at BitTorrent in a content role. Happily, she's back on the team.
Please welcome to the show, Lauren Hockenson. L-Hawk. Welcome to the set, my friend.
Thank you.
Now, I've noticed a very important thing that I'm confused by, which is when you look at financial and technology journalism, you can actually make a decent paycheck. Not billions of dollars, certainly, but you can do pretty well. But in other forms of journalism, there's a certain lack of financial recompense. So why is our little world better paid in other parts of journalism?
You know, I think that really comes down to the fact that journalism is still an institutional system, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that the people who have access to journalism are really oftentimes in a position of wealth and a position of education to take those jobs.
Are you saying that people of privilege are more likely to become journalists in other roles, or are you saying that people of not privilege are less likely to become journalists?
The latter.
Okay. Tell me why is that the case?
Because our pay is generally not that great, and
I've heard that,
the benefits are generally not that great, and also we're in a highly competitive industry. I mean, you know, you can do your job for X amount of money, but you know, Joe across the street can do your job for Y money that's less.
But usually when there's more competition, wages go up. If there's more combat for labor, prices go up for the price of that labor. So why is it competitive and yet also very poorly remunerated?
Because I think that there's just a glut of supply. I mean, when you're able to, you know, do your job or run your production, you know, with however many set of competent people, you can convince them that whatever they're getting paid is probably A-okay.
Okay, so now aside from the financial duress or distress that we've seen here and there, you know, is there anything else in the modern digital media world that's really pushing people away from still being journalists, or is it really just the financial and job-based difficulties, if you will?
You know, I think the internet is still really the wild, wild west. Although, you know, TechCrunch has been around for years.
10, actually.
10.
We're like in middle age now. It's fantastic.
Middle age. Okay. TechCrunch is a fourth grader.
Wow, shade, but I'll take it.
Yeah, shade, but true. No, but it's been around for a long time, and even though we have companies that have been around for many years, there's still a lot of unknowns to figure out. You know, advertising dollars, what drives traffic, what's the big key value, and you know, not all publications run the same way, and not all of them have the same goals. So a lot of it also has to do with the fact that, you know, publications really don't know what works for them.
Now, many people view journalism as a bit more than a job and almost a moral calling. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's a fair conception?
Yeah, so I always refer to journalism as a monastic lifestyle. You're sort
monastic?
Of monastic.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know we were in small cells not eating a lot of food.
Yes, exactly. I mean, as blasphemous as it sounds, I think that we tend to forsake a lot of things in search of the truth, and one of those things is a paycheck.
I love that I wake up in the morning and tell myself, this is why I'm a monk, this is why I'm doing this. No, I've never actually thought that way. I mean, yeah. I feel like we are among the privileged part of journalism because we do work in these fields that pay better than other parts of journalism. Yeah. So I've never felt monastic. I felt like it's a bummer to watch your friends make a lot of money. Like, I have friends that have gone from zero to like hundreds of millions, and I'm like, wait for me. But I don't feel like a monk at all.
Really?
No.
See, I sort of feel the opposite because I think that when it comes to pursuing a journalistic lifestyle, you often have to face heavy criticism. You have to have rigidity in your work schedule and in your ethics, and you have to be able to edit yourself, and you have to be able to constantly reevaluate yourself. And that's basically what being a monk is.
And that's a really, really good segue. I'm very curious because you left the team.
You did.
And you came back to the team. Mm-hmm. Given your context of the monastic lifestyle, what was the biggest reason why you came back?
That's actually a really good question. So I was working at BitTorrent as
Yes.
their social media and content manager, and it was really wonderful. I liked it a lot. And it really just happened to be that at the time I was thinking about the possibility of going back to journalism. I had sort of forsaken writing. When I left, I said, I'm never going to do this again.
I know.
I tossed it in the trash, and I just walked away. But as the months went by, I started realizing that I missed it, and I missed being able to write. I missed being able to offer my opinion. I missed being able to offer my analysis.
So basically, you came back to have a voice again.
Yes. And it just so happened that it coincided with a massive layoff at BitTorrent,
Right.
which included me. And I ultimately decided, now was my chance. And I was sitting in front of a bowl of ramen, and I was just like,
You're like, this ramen's dope. I'm going back to journalism.
yeah, that
Okay.
was it.
Did you have any fear, trepidation, or doubt concerning your return, or did it feel relatively, just good and full of flow, if you will?
I was scared as hell. I was
Okay.
so scared. I ended up actually calling Malik.
Because you worked at Gigom before.
I did work at Gigom, and I called him, and I was like, am I making the right choice? Because I don't know.
What did the tell you?
He told me, if you are going back to journalism so you can get out of journalism at a later time, don't even bother.
But if you're going back to be a journalist, then go forth?
Yes.
Was that good advice?
It was great advice. It was exactly what I needed to hear. And he just told me, if you have the drive and the power to do it, you can do it. And that's what I did.
So, having been doing this now, both of us, for a long time, we've seen changes in the industry, layoffs, death of publications, the whole thing changing. Do you think right now we should be encouraging people to get into journalism, or should we say, look, let's be realistic here, it's not going to be around in 20 years, do anything else but what we're doing?
See, I think it's interesting because you can't really dissuade a journalist to stop doing journalism. That's sort of the lesson that I took.
Is that a Hallmark card slogan, or are you trying to tell me some truth here?
Probably truth.
Okay.
But if you do end up submitting it to Hallmark, I would like royalties.
Done.
Okay, thank you. No, but I really think that what it comes down to is if you have the drive to seek the truth and to speak truth to power and to give your opinion and to give your analysis, and you will do it in any way possible.
So what you're saying is I should not quit my job, journalism is not dead, and we're stuck here until the end of time.
Yes, please don't quit your job.
I promise I won't.
Yay.
Bullish airs every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, and you can find it here on TechCrunch.com.